today's lesson, we will be talking about plane geometry. So this is a very important topic on our board exam, especially mga basic ito, mga gagamit nyo sa lessons sa calculus and even sa further lessons natin down the road. Okay, so let's begin this discussion with analyzing the concept of polygons. Okay, so for today, we will be talking specifically about regular polygons for this first part. Okay, so for a regular polygon, we can say that it is a regular polygon if it has equal measurements for its sides. So, equal sides ito. Okay, so let's say for example, we have here a pentagon. Pentagon is a 5-sided polygon. So, let's just say ganito yung itsura niya. What are the common parts of this polygon ba? Okay, so this one is a side. This one is the side. So we have 5 sides here. And it is usually represented by variable n sa formulas na may encounter natin along this discussion. And we also have what we call the side pala minsan tawag din sa kanya edge. Okay? We also have what we call the apothem. Si apothem is kinukuha natin siya from our point of, parang central point natin, the center of the polygon. We can get that by drawing a line from that center perpendicular to the side. And if that is perpendicular to the side, this should cut this side into 2 equal parts so that this side here and this side here would be equal. We call this one our apothem. Okay. We also have what we call our diagonals. Apothem is A, by the way. This one is diagonals. Ang diagonal naman connects two non-adjacent vertices. Nagko-connect siya ng dalawang hindi magkatabing vertex. So, this could be one of the diagonals ng pentagon na to. Okay? And diagonals is represented by variable D. So those are the important things that you need to know about the important lines sa isang polygon. When we talk about angles naman, drawing again that pentagon here, so assuming all sides are equal, no, meron tayong tinatawag na internal angle natin or interior angle natin. Ito yon. I'll put it angle sub I natin. Let's say angle sub I. Okay? Angle sub I is your interior angle. And kaya siya nandyan sa loob kasi interior angle siya. Okay? Partner ng interior angle na yan is this one. Okay? Let's just have it na lang as theta sub I. Parang ang awkward ng ganung sign. Theta sub I. Say this is theta sub I. This one naman is your theta sub E. If meron kang internal angle, syempre meron dapat siyang partner na exterior angle naman. Okay, this is your exterior angle. Okay? Aside dyan, meron tayong tinatawag na central angle. Central angle is the angle formed by 3 points, no? Meron tayong isang vertex dito, tapos yung center, tapos yung adjacent niya na vertex. This is theta sub C, or the central angle. Okay? Di ka naman mawawala kasi interior, ibig sabihin nasa loob, exterior, nasa labas, central, di nasa gitna. Okay? So, yan dapat yung mga kilala nating mga terms because a lot of problems sa plane and solid geometry natin, when we talk about board exam, wala siya talagang drawing na ini-incorporate. So, the problem will just tell you the interior angle, the exterior angle, ganyan. So, you need to identify kung aling part ng drawing yon yung sinasabi niya dun sa problem. And you need to draw it properly in order to analyze it properly as well. Okay? So, importante na alam natin itong mga bagay na ito. Okay? So, yun yung mga importante dyan. And now, ano ba yung mga important formula na kailangan natin tandaan when dealing with regular polygons? Okay? So, erasing ko muna to. Okay. Let's first talk about the significant lines that we are to encounter in this type of topic. So, una is yung sinabi ko kanina na apothem. Okay? Si apothem is actually wala siyang standard formula. Okay, apothem A. No standard formula, but later in our problem, makikita natin paano mo siya kinocompute. Kasi this uses the concept of trigonometry lang naman. Okay, yung sine and cosine, ganyan mga right angles principle lang naman siya. So, wala kang kailangan memoryahin na formula for apothem. For diagonals naman, okay, diagonals D, we are given this formula to compute for the total number of diagonals in a regular polygon. So, that would be n minus 3 over 2. Okay? Take note itong formula na to. This is for the number of diagonals. And n again is the number of sides. Okay? Para sigurado lang ha, ulitin ko, this is applicable only for regular polygons. Regular polygons lang. So, di mo siya pwede magamit sa mga polygons na hindi pare-pareho ang side measurements. Okay? So, yun yung for diagonals. And then, we also have our edges. Our edges naman ay nating sides. Okay? Ayan, wala din tayong standard formula nito. Trigo din ang gagamitin natin. So, depende yan ngayon kung ano yung given ng mga angles, given ba yung apothem, given ba yung sides. So, sine, cosine, tangent, ganun lang. Basically, ang gagamitin for that type of mga unknowns. And then, for our angles naman, una is our central angle, theta sub c. Si theta sub c is kinukuha mo lang siya as the 360 degrees as your whole circle angle. Okay? Divide mo lang siya by the number of sides. Ganun lang kasimple. And for interior angle, exterior angle naman natin, theta sub e, pareho sila actually ng formula po ni central angle. That's 360 over n. Or you can also get it by 180 degrees minus your interior angle, theta sub I. Kasi if nare-recall nyo kanina, drawing ko ng maliit dito, ayan. Okay? If ito si theta sub I mo, theta sub I, di ba ito si theta sub E? Which is actually the supplementary angle of theta sub I. So you can get it by 180 minus theta sub I. Ito yun. Okay? How about yung theta sub I mismo? Okay, you get it daw by getting the sum of the interior angles, let's put it as S sub I, divide mo daw siya by the total number of sides. And your S sub I, the sum of interior angles natin, is actually 180 times n minus 2. Okay? So basically, this would be 180 times n minus 2 divided by n. Okay? Yan yung mga formula na kailangan natin for basic polygon, regular polygon problems na ma-encounter natin for today. Okay? Now, we shall proceed. Now, we have our first problem. Find the sum of the interior angles of a heptadecagon or a polygon with 70 sides. So, yun yung unang tinatanong, no? Ano daw ang magiging S sub n? Okay, S sub n or S sub I, sum of interior angles natin, if n is equal to 17. So, very basic lang siya. Pag i-add mo lang, gagamitan mo lang siya ng formula natin for S sub I, which is, ano nga yun? 180 times n minus 2. Okay? Ganun lang siya. Kaso ang problema, kahit gano'n kasi siya kasimple, if you don't know the formula, and if you cannot devise a way to develop this formula, baka hindi mo siya masagutan. That's why maganda na familiar ka na lang with this formula. Okay? Sum of interior angles natin is 2,600 700 degrees. Alright. So that is for our problem 1. Now, proceed tayo kay number 2. Okay. Number 2, if the exterior angle of a regular polygon is 140 degrees less than its interior angle, how many sides does this polygon have? Okay? The exterior angle, sulat ko dito, exterior angle is 140 less than the interior angle. Yun yung sinabi niya. Okay? So, since wala kang mathematical equation dyan, ikaw ang gagawa ng mathematical equation mo from this description na sinasabi niya. Exterior angle natin is our theta sub e. Okay? Pag sinabi niyang is, ibig sabihin, equal to the interior or 140 less than the interior. So, if you can recall your basic computation or basic transformation of parang English words into mathematical na mga statement, diba? Pag sinabi mong less than, yung minus, ibig sabihin nito, diba? Minus. Pero, ang minus na yan would come after this interior angle. So, what I'm trying to say is, that would be theta sub I minus 140. Okay? And not the reverse. So, I hope nagigets nyo yun. So, yun daw yung gusto niya malaman ngayon. Ang tanong niya is, ano daw yung n or the number of sides? Okay? So, how do we do that? Interior angle natin is 360 degrees. Divide mo siya ngayon by n because that's the formula of exterior angle. No, exterior angle is equal to the interior angle. Ano nga yung formula natin? 180 times n minus 2 divided by n minus 140. Okay? So, assume natin na yung calculator nyo hindi na makapag-shift solve, edi balik tayo sa basic pag-compute ng mga equations. Okay, multiply everything by n to remove this one here. We have 360 is equal to 180 n minus 2. Ka-cancel yung n sa baba, minus 140. Okay? Simplifying it further now, you have 360 here, 180n minus 360 minus, oh, I'm sorry, this is 140n minus 140n. Moving this on to the other side, that would give us 360 plus 360 is 720. Simplifying 180 minus 140 is 40n. Okay? And then, now we can divide 40 on both sides. And that would give us the total number of sides, which is equal to 18. This polygon daw that will satisfy the given statement there has 18 sides. And this is still a regular polygon na pinag-uusapan natin. Okay. So, that's for the basic examples 1 and 2. And then now let's proceed to number 3. Okay, let's erase first. Ayan. So, while nag-erase ako, process nyo lang muna yung mga narinig nyo na early on para hindi kayo ma-overwhelm sa topic natin. Okay. Now, moving to our third example. Number 3, the number of diagonals of a regular polygon is 35. Okay, I'll put it here. D is equal to 35. And then, find the area of the polygon if its apothem measures 10 centimeters. So, we are looking for the area at an apothem value of 10 centimeters. Okay? So, before you can find the area, kailangan mo muna malaman ngayon ilan yung sides ng regular polygon na to. Okay? Hanapin natin yon. How are you going to get that? By using our total diagonals. I said it earlier that our formula for total diagonals is n times n minus 3 divided by 2. Okay? And that should be equal to 35 now from our problem, right? So from this equation here, we can compute for our n, the number of sides. So expanding this one will give us n squared minus 3n divided by 2, or let's cross multiply 2 here, and that is equal to 70. Moving 70 onto the other side, n squared minus 3n minus 70 is equal to 0. Okay? Concept ng factoring gagamitin natin dito. So if you can recall, and I hope you can still recall it, okay? Factor is n minus 10 and n plus 7. Okay? Ayan na yan. Then, each factor, i-equate natin kay 0. This would give us n is equal to 10. And this would give us n is equal to negative 7. Okay, dalawa yung sagot, pero isa lang, syempre, ang logical na sagot for the number of sides, which is etong 10. So now we are looking at a polygon with 10 equal sides and with an apothem of 10 centimeters. Okay? Ayan na yun. What are we going to do with this now para mahanap natin ang area? So, pwede mong i-drawing yung polygon na yun so as to help you understand ano yung magiging itsura niya. Or maybe, pwede mong tingnan siguro yung polygon na hindi ganun karami yung sides. Okay? Let's just say, ito muna, pag-usapan natin yung ang tawag nito, Pentagon. Okay? Kasi what happens in a pentagon is parang similar to what will happen to this 10-sided polygon, which is what we call decagon, by the way. Okay? Ito actually yung pentagon natin. And di ba si pentagon, pwede ko siyang ma-divide into 5 different sides or 5 different parang quadrants niya. And would you agree that this part here, this part 1 is equal to part 2, is equal to part 3, is equal to part 4, and is equal to part 5? Do you agree with that? And I hope you do agree, no? And can I say that the area of this pentagon is equal to 5 times the area of one triangle? Oh, one triangle. Okay, nag-agree ba kayo doon? Asan yung triangle, ma'am? Ito. Pukuyin mo ang area nitong isa, ita times 5 mo, yun yung area ng buko. Tama yan, di ba? Kasi nga, regular polygon yung pinag-uusapan natin ngayon. So, if that is true for a pentagon, do you think it would also be true for a decagon? Okay? The answer is yes, no? The area of a decagon, okay, decagon is the 10-sided polygon, by the way, is equal to 10 times the area of one triangle na mabubuo sa decagon yan. Okay? Draw ko yung triangle na yan ngayon. Dito. Draw ko siya. Isa lang. Okay. Ma'am, di ba nabanggit mo kanina yung tinatawag natin na apothem? And you told us earlier that apothem is drawn from the center of the polygon towards the midpoint of one side, and that will create a perpendicular angle there. So, is it safe to say na ito yung ating magiging apothem? Okay? Actually, safe na safe sabihin na yan si apothem natin. Ito yung sinasabi niya na 10 centimeters daw ang measurement. Okay. How about this one? If I would ask you, how do you call this angle here? Okay, ito yan. Similar yan to this type of angle. Kung nakanikay kanina, you would see na si central angle natin yan. And how do we compute for central angle? That's 360 divided by n, the number of sides, which is in this case is 10. And that would give us 36 degrees. Okay, this is 36 degrees. O, kalatiin ko na lang. One side niya is 18. The other side is also 18. That would sum up to 36 degrees. Okay, so looking at this triangle now, this is a right triangle, yung kalahati lang. This is 10, this is 18 degrees. Is this half of the total side measurement? Okay? Yes, di ba? Okay, ito yun. So let's just say this is variable s over 2. By trigonometry, basic trigonometry, what do we have? We have the tangent of, which is the tangent of 18 degrees is equal to tangent, that's opposite, s over 2 divided by the adjacent, which is 10. So that gives us 10 tangent of 18 degrees is equal to s over 2. Right? Multiplying this across, this would be 20 times tangent of 18 degrees is equal to s. So let us find now what is the measurement of one side of this one. So this would be, okay, this would be 20 tangent of 18. Okay, so that will give us how much? 6.5. 6.5 centimeters. Okay, that's one way to compute it. So you have your base now. Okay, let me erase this one na guys ha. Oh, understood na siguro hanggang sa point na to para meron tayong space. So I will write again, or I will draw again our triangle para makita nyo clearly what happens here. Okay, we have here an altitude, which is your apothem, that is 10 cm, and we have your side measuring 6.5. That's the entire side already. That's your S. Okay, now we can compute for the area. Area is equal to 10 times area of one triangle, which is 1/2. Base is 6.5. Altitude is 10. Okay? Isin ko ng kaunti kasi medyo hindi malinaw yung decimal point. Okay. And close this one. That would give us an area now equal to 10 times 0.5 times 6.5 times 10. 325 cm squared. That's the area of the polygon with 35 na diagonals and apothem measuring 10 centimeters. Okay? Alright. You can pause the video if you're trying to absorb everything pa. You're free to do that. Proceeding to our last example for polygons, we have number 4. Yan, for regular polygons. We have here a problem. A circle is circumscribing a regular nonagon. A circle is circumscribing a nonagon. Okay? And then, if the area of the circle, lagay ko dito, area ng circle is 113.1 square meters. Determine the area between the circle and the nonagon. Between the circle and the nonagon. Okay? If you're familiar with this term circumscribing, what does it mean when you say that a circle is circumscribing a nonagon? Okay? Pag sinabi mong circumscribing a nonagon, ibig sabihin, nandun siya sa labas ng nonagon. Parang pinapalibutan niya yung nonagon na yun. So, ganito yung magiging itsura. We have a circle here, and we are to draw a nonagon. A nonagon is a 9-sided polygon. So let's just assume na regular na itong pagkakadrawing ko ngayon. Alright. Okay, so this is a 9-sided. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So ayan. Circle is circumscribing a nonagon. Ano naman ma'am yung magiging question niya pag yung circle is nasa loob siya ng nonagon, no? Inscribed naman ang term yun na yun. Inscribed is nasa loob siya. A circle is inscribed in a nonagon, nasa loob yun. But this time, the circle is circumscribing a nonagon. That's why nasa labas siya. Okay? Area of the circle is given. And what is being asked here is yung area daw between the nonagon and the circle, which is actually itong sinishade kong portion ng ating drawing. Yan yung tinatanong niya sa problem. So, you need to see to it na tama yung pagkakadrawing nyo, na tama yung pagkakaintindi nyo, kasi nga, speaking about board exam, walang nakadraw ganito. So, ikaw yung magdodraw. Okay? So, once na-draw mo yung bilog dun sa loob, ay sigurado mali yung magiging sagot mo nun. Okay? So, ganun dapat. Oh, how are you going to compute for this one? Since this is a nonagon, the first thing that you may consider getting is maybe the central angle. Kasi 'di ba, if you can recall from problem 3, kailangan mong makuha yung angle or sides of maybe this nonagon for you to get the area. Kasi we can say naman na yung area shaded, okay, the area unknown, equal yan sa area ng circle minus area ng nonagon, 'di ba? Am I right or am I right? Yes, am I right? No? Ayan. Ayun. So, anong gagawin natin dito ngayon? We get this maybe central angle first of the nonagon, theta sub c. Okay? So, this is theta sub c is, I'll move it a little down here na. Theta sub c natin is, from our formula, is 360 divided by n, which is 9. So, that gives us a central angle equal to 40 degrees. Okay? Sensya na kayo sa mga background na manok dito. Live po tayo. Kahit pinapanood nyo na itong video na to, ayun, laban lang guys, ha? Para masaya naman ako nakikinig kayo. Ayun. Sige. Okay, so this is our theta sub c. The next thing that we need to get is the sides. Now, we can use this, maybe this side here. Pwede natin kunin yan. Okay? And would you say that this side here is the radius of the circle? Tama bang sabihin yun? Tama, di ba? Kasi by definition, radius is the center to the circumference or to the perimeter of that circle. So that is the radius. And since we are given the area, we can compute the radius by pi r of the circle squared. That gives us 113.1. Okay, laban lang ang mga manok, times r sub o squared. Okay, we can get r sub o here. How much is our r sub o? Okay, when you compute that, that is approximately 6 meters. R sub o now is also the side of this triangle here. And going back to our problem number 3, similar to that, we can get the area of the nonagon as 9 times the area of the little triangles that you see here. Okay? Sige. Since we don't have the altitude of this triangle and we don't have the base also, we can use the other formula in computing the area of a triangle, which is yung, 1/2 AB sine theta. So, I am presenting another formula that may help you in the future for your computation of area of a triangle. A and B are the sides of the triangle. So, this could be this side and the other side is RO as well. Dalawang RO yan. And yung theta dito, sa sine theta na yan, should be the angle in between these two sides na na-identify mo. No? Included angle siya between A and B. So, in this case, kung ito yung A and B mo, this is the theta that you are to consider in your computation. Okay? Sana clear yun. Now, we get the area of the nonagon. That would be 9 times 1/2. A this time is your RO, which is 6. And your B is RO as well on this other side, which is 6. And then sine of the central angle, that's the included angle, which is equal to 40 degrees. Alright. So, computing that one would give us how much? Okay? That would give us 104.13 square meters of area. Yun na yun. Area yan ng Nonagon. But what we are tasked to get is the area of the shaded portion. I'll write it here. Area shaded this time is the area of the circle, 113.1, minus the area of the Nonagon, 104.13. Area shaded natin would be how much? This would be 8.968 square meters. This would be our final answer now. Alright. So that's our last example for regular polygons, and we proceed sa ating next topic. Okay, our next set of topics under plane geometry is the analysis of triangles. Okay, so we have here triangles. Ayan. So let's get familiar muna with the terms na pwedeng gamitin sa problem when we talk about triangles. So lagay natin, meron tayong isang malaking triangle dito. So triangle na magkakaiba-iba yung sides nila. No, hindi naman necessarily right triangle siya or isosceles triangle siya. Ayan. Alam niyo na siguro ano yung difference nun, di ba? Right triangle, meron siyang right angle. So basically parang ganito yung itsura niya. Okay, may right angle dyan. Isosceles triangle naman ang tawag sa triangle na may dalawang equal sides. Si itong side na to, pareho sa side na to, siya si isosceles. No? May times naman na yung right triangle, pareho yung sides na to. Okay, so this one is right. This one is isosceles. And this one is isosceles right. May isosceles right triangle ang tawag dyan. Okay? So, syempre, equilateral triangle naman yung tawag sa, halimbawa, ito. Yung side na to, ito, equilateral triangle siya. Equilateral. Okay, so, ito yung mga iba-iba natin na pwede ma-encounter. Yung triangle naman na yung side niya ay parang irregular masyado. Itong side na to is different sa side na to, sa side na to. Scalene triangle naman sila. Okay? Ayan yun. So, get familiar with that lang. Burahin ko na. Familiar siguro kayo niyan. Familiar na siguro kayo niyan. Okay? So, for today, meron tayong mga important lines na pag-uusapan when we talk about triangles in general. Okay? The first line is tinatawag natin siya na median. No? Median is a line that will come from a vertex and then i-approach niya yung other, yung isang side ng triangle and then ikakat niya yan into half. So that this one would be x, ito dapat maging x din. This one is what you call your median. Okay? So, yan yung median sa unang side. Ang isang median nandito. This would be y, dapat ito magiging y din yan. And the third median natin is andyan. If this is z, this would also be z. Tatlong lines na yan, we call that the median. And this one, we call this one as our centroid. Okay? Centroid ang tawag sa parang point of concurrence nila, kung saan sila nag-meet. Centroid ang tawag yun, pag median ang mga lines natin. Okay. The second one naman is our tinatawag natin na kayo nga mag-figure out ng tawag nito. If nag-draw ko ng line ngayon mula dito sa vertex na to, and then i-approach ko ngayon ito on the other side, and if this is angle A, ito din is equal to angle A. Okay? Anong tawag natin dito sa line na to? O halimbawa, ito din sa vertex na to. Ayan. If this is angle B, this one also is angle B. Okay? And lastly, if ito, angle C, ito din daw dapat angle C. How do we call this, these lines here? Okay? Ito very obvious, no? Binabisect niya kasi yung angle. Binabisect niya yung angle, so, angle by sector ang tawag sa kanya. Okay? Angle bisector. Okay, and the point of intersection of our angle bisectors, we call this one as our in-center. In-center. Okay? Bakit in-center ang tawag sa kanya? Kasi siya yung center ng inside circle na madudraw sa loob ng angle bisector nito. Okay? So, baka hindi circle ang madudraw ko. But, I hope, yeah, you are seeing this one. Ayan, yung broken lines sa circle na yan, tinatawag natin yan na in-circle. Hence, ang kanyang center, tinatawag natin na in-center. Mukha lang siyang decenter dyan, pero pag inayos ko siguro guys, ayan. Draw nyo na lang ng maayos sa notes nyo. But the concept is there. Okay? Moving to the next one, I will draw another triangle here. And next natin pag-uusapan is a line that is cutting this side or cutting all your sides perpendicularly, and then kinakat niya ito to equal sides. Halimbawa ito. Gagawin ko tong X, ikakat niya dyan, nadadaan dito yung line na yan, 90 degrees ito. Ito ulit, ikakat niya dito. Okay? 90 degrees ito, ikakat niya to Y, ito naman is Y. And lastly, ikakat niya dito. Yan. Itong line na to, 90 degrees, this would be Z and this would be Z. Okay? What you need to know is, itong mga lines na to, hindi kailangan dumaan siya dito sa mga vertex. Compared sa mga kanina, di ba? Lahat din kasi nagagaling dito sa mga vertices natin. Okay? Ito naman is not necessarily. Ang property niya lang is, ikakat niya daw yung side ng dalawang equal portions, and then yung line na yan will pass through that side perpendicularly. Parang magiging siya, perpendicular bisector actually yung tawag sa mga lines na yan. No? Sa name pa lang yan, naiintindihan mo na paano siya dumadaan sa ating triangles. Perpendicular bisector. It is bisecting the sides at a perpendicular manner. Ito naman, bisecting the angles. Bisecting the angles ito. Ito naman is, hinahati niya lang yung side, pero hindi necessarily perpendicular ang kanyang paghati. So, may differences talaga sila. And that's what you need to really understand. Kaya ako siya dinodraw ng ganyan para maintindihan niyo ng maigi. Okay? This one, itong, anong tawag ito? Point of intersection nila, we call this one as our orthocenter. Orthocenter. Okay? Tama ba ako pagkakaano? I'm sorry, this is circumcenter pala. Circumcenter. Okay? Nare-recall nyo kanina, in-center ang tawag nito kasi gitna siya ng inside circle or inscribed circle. No, inscribed circle. Okay. Ito naman, circumcenter siya kasi magiging gitna siya ng circumscribing circle. Okay? Which is, nasan ba yun? Ito-draw ko siya ng maayos. Hindi ko na pala siya madraw dito. Ayan na. Diyan tayo nahihirapan palagi. Okay? Ayan na. O, imagine nyo na lang, napunta dito yung below. Ayan. May circle na nakapalibot dito na tumatama sa vertices ng ating triangles. And that circle, ang magiging gitna niya is ito. Circumcenter ang tawag. And this one is what you call your circumcircle. Circumcircle or circumscribing circle naman siya. Okay? So, yan. Then last na kailangan natin maintindihan is isa pang concept ng ating triangle. Okay? Ito namang line na to, gagaling ka ulit sa vertex, idodraw mo siya ngayon 90 degrees towards the opposite side. So this would be 90, hindi necessary na pareho ang measurement nito. Okay? So magkaiba sila nito kasi ito perpendicular siya, hindi siya dumadaan sa vertex. Nahahati niya or nababisect niya yung side. Ito naman, perpendicular lang. Okay? Ayan. Pag ganito. Ayan. Tapos ito naman, pag ganyan. Okay? We call this one as our altitude. Okay? Familiar ito sa inyo kasi ito yung usual natin ginagamit na height when we use 1/2 base times height na area computation for our triangle. Okay? Altitude ang tawag din lahat. And this one is what we call our ortho center. Okay? Very important itong mga terms na to kasi pag board exam, minsan, question na binibigay sa atin is definition lang of terms, which is 1 point din yun, no? Tapos yung mga heavy computations, 1 point din. So, equally important ang pagka-intindi natin ng mga terms talaga natin sa ating mathematics. Okay? So, those are the 4 things that you need to know. Median, angle bisector, perpendicular bisector, and orthocenter. And isang very special characteristic ng ating triangle is, let's say, meron tayong isang malaking triangle na to. Lagay ko dito, this is triangle ABC. Okay? Isang mahalagang pangyayari dito is, if you are to locate your orthocenter, your centroid, and your circumcenter, let's say, pinaplot natin dito ngayon. Ito yung magiging orthocenter ko. Ito yung magiging centroid ko. Okay? And ito yung magiging circumcenter ko. O, sana nare-recall nyo yun ha. Circumcenter. Bago yun natin pinag-usapan, sino yan? Centroid. And this one is your orthocenter. Okay? Ang pinakamagandang property nila is nagpo-fall daw yan sila sa isang line. Okay? Sadyain natin ang fall. Okay? Nagpo-fall talaga sila sa isang line pag naayos nating plot. And this line is what we call your Euler's line. Euler's line, hindi ko alam ano daw ang pronunciation. Basta ito, Euler's line ang pagka-pronounce sa kanya. Okay? Isang natatandaan kong board exam question is, which among the choices daw ang hindi nagpo-fall sa Euler's line? So, syempre, ang choices is circumcenter, centroid, orthocenter, and the in-center. So, ang answer dun sa tanong na yun is the in-center. So, that's a very basic objective type of question na pwede din natin punta. So, I hope that helps and we can now proceed sa ating mga computation. Okay, so we have our first example here for triangles. So this is a situation, isang problem lang pero maraming tanong under this one. So we have a triangle which measures 70 by 90 by 120. 70 by 90 by 120. Okay, 70 here, maybe 90 here, and 120 units here. Question now is, determine the angle bisector to the shortest side of the triangle. Angle bisector to the shortest side of the triangle. Yan. Okay? So we have here our angle. Let's say this is angle A. This one is angle B. And this one is angle C. Ang hinahanap sa atin dito is the measurement of the angle bisector to the shortest side of the triangle. So basically, ito yon. Let's say this is distance x here. And if this is an angle bisector, this angle here should be equal to C over A, C over 2. Okay, this is C over 2, and this one here is another C over 2 dapat. Diba? Yun yung definition ng ating angle bisector. Okay, so how are we going to do that? First, since we have all the sides of these triangles, maybe it would be helpful if we are to get all the angles as well. Okay, so how are we going to get all the angles given we have all these three sides? We can use our cosine law. Okay. How do we use our cosine law? The cosine law formula says that c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of angle C. Okay? C squared natin in this case is 70 because yan yung harap ng angle na hinahanap natin, no? Angle C. So we have here 70 squared is equal to a squared, which is 90 plus 120. Okay, and 20 squared minus 2. A is 90, B is 120, cosine of angle C. Okay, so paano yun kukunin? Lipat natin sa kabilang side. This would be 70 squared minus 90 squared minus 120 squared divided by negative 2, 90 times 120. That is equal to cosine of angle C. Okay? Computing that one now, that would give us how much? 70 squared minus 90 squared minus 120 squared divided by negative 2 times 90 times 120. Your cosine C, therefore, would become 22 over 27. Take arc cos of C. Arc cos of angle is, that will give you the value of your angle C. Okay, that's 35.43 degrees. So that's it for angle C. I'll write it here, 35.43 degrees. So can you help me do this again? Now using our 90 naman, tapos angle A ang makuha, and then 120 naman, tapos angle B ang makuha. I'll just write it here. This would be how much? 90 squared is equal to 70 squared plus 120 squared minus 2 times 70 times 120 cosine of angle A. Cosine of angle A. Okay? Using the same procedure na ginawa ko dito, you will be able to get our angle A. That should be 48.19 degrees. Do the same for 120 degrees is equal to 70 squared. 120 squared, by the way, sorry, no? 120 squared equals 70 squared plus 90 squared minus 2 times 70 times 90 cosine of angle B naman yan. Okay? That would give us angle B equal to 96.38 degrees. And it is a must that if you add A plus B plus C, that should total to 180 degrees. Because the sum of interior angles of a triangle is 180. So for you to be able to verify that you perform your cosine law correctly, the sum of the three angles should be 180 degrees. Alright, I'll write the values here. This would be 96.38 and this would be 48.19 degrees. You can pause this video if you want to check this computation here. And sa gusto nang mag-proceed, I will start erasing. So this is number 5 that we are answering. Ayan. What is the value of the angle bisector to the shortest side? We are looking for the value of x here. So if I am to draw this one, This is the x value that we are looking for. And this is angle B, 96.38 degrees. And this is point C here. And if this is point C, can we say that this angle here is C over 2? C over 2? Yes, no? Because angle bisector nga siya. So, dapat nakakat niya si angle C na yan into two equal angles. So, dividing that by 2 will give us 17.72 degrees. Now, if you look at this one, missing tong side na to and meron kang dalawang angles and this side is also given, ayan, 90 units. How are we going to solve for x? Okay? Maybe, no, the easiest way to do this is by using our sine law. So, ang sine law natin, it tells us that the sine of your angle A over the side A is equal to the sine of angle B. The sine of angle A is equal to side A. Sine of angle B over the side B. The sine of angle C side up equal to side C. This is our cosine law. And we can apply it here kasi dalawa ang meron tayo. So, the sine of this is equal to this. And the sine of this angle dapat over, teka lang ulit. The sine of this angle over this should be equal to the sine of this angle over this one. Okay? So, kailangan natin mahanap ano muna itong angle nito. Sige nga. That is very simple now. We can compute this by 180. That's the total angle na dapat na dyan sa triangle na yan. Minus 96.38. Ito yon. Minus 17.72. That would give us 65.9 angle value natin. Okay? 65.9 degrees. By knowing that, we can now perform our sine law such that, again, the sine of 96.38, ito yon, over yung side na kaharap niya, which is x in this case, should be equal to the sine of this angle, 65.9, divided by yung side na kaharap niya, which is 90. Okay? Performing that one would give us the value of x is equal to 97.98 units. So this is the measurement of the angle bisector to the shortest side. To 70 units. Angle bisector to the shortest. I hope naintindihan nyo itong part na to. Okay? Erase ko na ngayon. Next question natin is, determine the median to the longest side of the triangle. That's for number 6. Median to 120 units. That's the longest side. Okay. O, burahin ko muna itong drawing natin sa first, ha. Tanggalin natin itong x. Ayan. Alright. So, given natin mga sides, na-compute na natin ang angle kanina. Median, by definition ng median ulit is, i-draw mo siya from one vertex. Let's say, in this case, ito yon kasi we are going towards the 120 side. And this line should bisect this 120 na side natin. No? For it to become a median, dapat isa-strike niya yung middle ng 120 na side. So that means, if that's 120, it is safe to say that this one is 60, and this one should also be 60. And let's say what we are looking for here is denoted by variable y. Now, how are we going to get variable y? Okay? Take note, we have our angles already. So, if you are to look at this portion here, yan, i-isolate ko siya ngayon. This one is y. Okay, let's have it as broken line. Ito yung ano natin. We have 60 here. And we have 70 here. This is your point B, and this is your point A. This angle here is 48.19 degrees. Okay. So, this time naman, pwede natin siyang makompute using our cosine law. Okay? Paano si cosine law ulit? Meron tayong side na y squared is equal to 70 squared plus 60 squared minus 2 times 70 plus 60. Okay? Times the cosine of angle A. In this case, we have 48.19 degrees. Okay. So, computin natin yan, and then taking the square root, we should have how much? That should be 2,000, teka lang, y squared, para ma-check nyo, is 2,900.03. And then taking the square root, that would give you your final answer of 53.85 units. That's for number 6. Median to 120 daw na side. Okay. You can pause this again if you want to observe this part. Proceed to number 7. What we are asked to have here is the altitude to the side measuring 90 units. This is altitude to the side measuring 90 units. Okay. Let me erase this one again. This is for problem 6 kasi. Let's draw another line here to address problem number 7. Altitude towards the 90 units doon side. So, how are you going to get that? Di ba ang kailangan natin gawin kung 90 units ito, altitude ito is, galing dito is magdadrop ka lang ng line perpendicular to the 90 degrees. So, let's just say ito yun. So, this should be perpendicular daw to that side. Okay? So, maybe you will wonder na, ma'am, posible ba na nandito yung 90 degrees sa loob or nandito yung altitude sa loob? No? Kasi if i-check natin, ma'am, yung angle, if i-draw ko tong side na to, ayan yun. And if you are seeing this one, ganyan, nakikita nyo na this is point B and this is point A. This one is actually 96.38 degrees. And ito, kung 90 degrees ito, so, sobra na ngayon yung drawing natin sa 180. Tama? Kasi di ba dapat ang sum ng angle na to, ng angle na to, at saka ng angle na to, 180 degrees na dapat. But this is greater than 180. So, this is not the correct drawing of our problem. But regardless of the drawing, nakukompute mo pa naman din siya ng maigi, no? Pero kung aayusin natin yung drawing na yan, actually, ang magiging 90 or magiging altitude ng ating point dyan na yun is nandito sa abas. Try ko siyang ganitohin na para medyo accurate yung drawing natin sa 70, 90, and 100. Ang altitude actually ng 90 to the 90 units na side natin is nandito sa labas. That's the more accurate drawing. Okay? So, idodraw ko siya ng kaunti dito, no? Medyo lakihan natin. Natin maging altitude siya dyan. Then, ito yung broken line. Yung 70 is, ayan, ito yung 70 natin. Then, this is your point A here. This is your point B and point C. Now, if this is 96.38, yung angle na yan, how much is this angle then? Paano natin makukuha? Let's say angle gamma. Angle gamma is the supplement of this 96.38. So because basically, we can get that by computing 180 minus 96.38. Okay? Ang 180 na to galing sa supplementary na property nilang dalawa, di ba? Which is a straight line, 180 degrees yun. So that angle gamma then would be equal to 180 minus 96.38 will give us 83.6 62 degrees. Okay? So, kung i-draw ko yung broken line na yan ngayon, this one is 70 units. This is what we are looking for, letter Z. Let's denote it with letter Z. That's the altitude to the 90 unit na side. And this one here is angle gamma, 83.62 degrees. Okay. This is point A. This one is point B. So how are we going to compute for Z? We are just going to employ our trigonometric functions. That is the sine of 83.62. Sine is opposite, that's Z, over hypotenuse, this is 70. Okay? Huwag kayong magkakamali kasi andito ang 90 degrees natin. Okay? Kasi altitude siya, nandyan yung 90 degrees. So this should be our hypotenuse here. So Z therefore is equal to, ilan yan? 70 sine of the angle 83.62. That leaves us with a final answer of 69.57 units. You might be wondering na, ma'am, ibig sabihin pala, pag kinocompute namin itong mga ganitong lines, hindi na namin kailangan memorize yung formula talaga for median, memorize yung formula for angle bisector, for altitude. Kasi if you can recall, sa books natin, earlier sa college, nakasulat yung mga formula na yon, which we think is kailangan nating i-memorize. But computing this problem from 5 to 7, helped us understood na cosine law, sine law, trigonometric functions lang pala kailangan mo para makompute itong mga values na to. So you just need to make use of the basics na alam mo. Hindi mo kailangan i-complicate ang mga bagay-bagay dito. Okay? So I hope that is very clear to you. So we have here problem 8. This one is connected to problems 5 to 7. And the question here is to find the radius of the inscribed circle. To find the radius of the inscribed circle. So initially, what was given here is this triangle measuring 70, 90, and 120. And kung magdodraw daw tayo ng in-circle dito, ito yun, kaya nasa loob siya, inscribed circle. Tinatanong ngayon, ano daw ang magiging radius nito? Let's say this is R sub I. Okay? So maybe you're thinking na, Ma'am Fee, baka gagamitin natin ngayon dito is yung angle bisector because from your discussion kanina, we can only draw this in circle if we can draw our angle bisector. But again, meron tayong standard formula kasi sa geometry na ginagamit na natin in computing in circle of a triangle. Okay? The formula says that area of the triangle daw, and it's referring to this triangle outside, is equal to the radius of the in-circle, that's what we're looking for, times your semi-perimeter. Okay? Semi-perimeter is our half of the perimeter. That's why it's semi. Okay? That's perimeter over 2. So we can compute that here. That's 120 plus 90 plus 70. And that would give us, divided by 2, and that would give us how much? 140. That's your semi-perimeter. And if you can get the area of the triangle down, then you will be able to get the radius of the in-circle. Ito pala siya guys, tandaan nyo na lang to ha, kasi derived formula nito. Mas madali siyang i-approach mo siya ng ganito, kaysa dumaan ka pa sa iba't ibang parts ng ating triangle dito, sa iba't ibang geometry ni triangle. Okay? So, ayan na. Then, how are we going to get the area of the triangle? So, meron tayong iba't ibang way of getting it. You can use Theorem's formula if you'd like. Okay? Kung familiar pa kayo dito. So, si Theorem's formula kasi, ginagamit to if all sides of the triangle are given. So, si Theorem's formula natin goes this way. This is the square root of S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C. Yan yung gagamitin mo sa kanya. Wherein S here is your semi-perimeter. Okay, na-compute mo na 100. And A, B, and C are your sides. So this could be your A, B, and your C. Kaya bahala na. Interchangeable naman sila. And what you will get there is the area of the triangle. But ako personally, what I'd like to use here is yung ano na lang, angle na lang ang gamitin natin. No, since kanina, na-compute naman natin yung angle, nalagay ko dito, di ba may angle tayong na-compute na from our previous items. Okay, kahit isa lang, kailangan natin sa kanila. Say you have here your 48.19. This one is 48.19 degrees. O, pwede na yan. Pwede mo nang gamitin ngayon yung formula ng triangle, which is, ginamit natin earlier, 1/2 AB sine of angle theta. Okay? Dalawang sides and the included angle ang kailangan doon. Which I believe is a lot easier compared sa mag-Heron's formula ka pa. Especially kapag manual yung computation na gagawin mo. Okay, lagay ko dito sa gilid. Area ng triangle would be 1/2. A natin is 70. B is 120. And you have the sine of angle. Sine of... Baba ko na lang. Sine of 48.19. Okay? Computing that would give us the area of the triangle equal to around this one, 3,130.42. So, kung may mga discrepancies kayong nako-compute na sa decimal point lang, acceptable naman na yun, no? Ayan. So, considering we have this area of the triangle and we have semi-perimeter 40, I guess we can now compute for the radius of the inscribed circle by using again the formula na binigay ko dito. Okay? Let me write our final answer here. This one is the area 3130.42 is equal to your unknown R sub I and your S is 140 semi-perimeter. And that will give you R sub I, radius of inscribed circle, equal to 22.36. Alright. Okay, nakabox ang formula na kailangan mo for this problem and also our final answer. Okay. Sana naintindihan niyo yun. Now, proceeding to our 9th problem, still related to this one. No, ang unang tinanong dito kay number 8 is inscribe circle. Alam nyo na, ano yung itatanong niya kay number 9. Okay? Number 9 talks about a C. Okay. Problem 9. For the same triangle na pinag-uusapan natin kanina, okay, find the radius of the circumscribing circle naman. Okay, this is R circumscribe naman. Circumscribing. Lagay natin ganyan. Ito naman yung magiging ano natin ngayon. Parehong triangle ang pinag-uusapan. So, let me draw the circle first para maayos ang ating drawing. Then, draw ko ngayon yung ating triangle. Kasi ito yung 70, 90, and 120 kanina. Okay? 70, 90, and 120. Okay, ayan yun. Ngayon, pinapahanap niya ano yung radius. Oh, if this is the center of this circle, ito yung tinatanong. What is this R sub C? And if you can recall, nado-draw itong circumcenter or circumcircle na to by using our ano man tawag ito? Gagamitin mo yung perpendicular bisector. Diba? So, if i-connect mo yung perpendicular bisector nila, ito dapat yung magiging center. Okay? Ito dapat yung magiging center niya. The circumcenter. Okay? So, kung ayaw na nating daanan yung mga ganun na mga principles, which is na-derive naman na kasi yung formula natin for it, gamitin natin directly ang formula. Area ng triangle daw is equal to A, B, C, over 4r sub c. This is a very important formula for circumscribing circle ng mga principles. ABC over 4r sub c. Lagay ko kanina dito. Siyempre, hindi na magbabago yung area ng triangle. Kung ano yung na-complete natin kanina, yun na din yun. Kasi we're talking about the same triangle. So, from problem 8, meron na tayong na-compute na area na 3,130.42 square units. Okay? A, B, C are the sides of the triangle. So, we can directly substitute it. 3,130.42 is equal to ABC, say 70, 90, and 120. Okay? Divided by 4 times R sub C, which is unknown for this problem. So using your calculator, you can compute your R sub C, and that should be equal to 60.375 units. This should be your answer. Right? I hope clear sa atin yan. Okay. Last for our triangles, meron na tayong inscribe, meron na tayong circumscribe, and the third one is, I guess, less familiar to you as it was less familiar to me as well when I was just a student. So, might as well, i-discuss natin. Okay. Ano ba tong number 10? Problem 10 naman natin talks about the radius of the scribe circle. Radius of the scribed circle. Okay? To the longest side. Ascribe to 120 units. That's our longest side. And that's what we are looking for. So, ang circumscribe at inscribe, familiar sa atin yun kanina, di ba? Kasi nadodrawhan natin yun. Ano naman, ma'am, ang magiging itsura ng ating ascribe circle? So, let me draw the triangle again. This is 70, 90, and 120. Okay. For us to draw our ascribe circle, ganito daw ang gagawin. You extend this side here. Extend this side here. Yan, extend mo lahat ng sides. Okay. So, kung na-extend mo na, tatlong ascribe circles ang mabubuo natin dito. One is ascribe to 70, the other is to 90, and the last one is to 120, which is yung particular concern natin for this problem. But to show you, ganito ang magiging itsura ni ascribe circle natin. Ayan, mukha lang siyang D-circle. Pero si scribe circle should touch one side of the triangle, in this case yung 70, and then it should also touch the prolongation of the other two sides. So, extend tayo ng 90 dito, na-touch na yon, and na-extend na tayo ng 120 dyan, na-touch na yun. Ganon din dito, no? Let's just say, mas malaki siguro yung scribe circle dito. Ayan. And then, and dito, mas malaki, syempre. Challenging ang ating mga pag-drawing, but let's just say, ayan na. I guess naiintindihan nyo naman yung punto ko. So, ito yung mga pwede nating makompute. This one is R ascribe to 90. This one is R ascribe to 70. And this is specifically what we want to compute. R ascribe to 120. And mukha lang siyang mahirap, but again, meron na siyang established formula. And that's what we're going to use now. So, established formula natin is halos kahawig siya ni Heron's formula. No? O R ascribe is ganito daw. Ayan. We have here the square root. Ano nga si Heron's formula natin? S minus A, S minus B. Okay? Tapos meron siyang denominator ngayon. S minus C. Ganyan ang magiging itsura niya. Okay? wherein yung C daw, si C, ang gagamitin mong C dito is the side of the triangle where the circle is ascribed to. Okay? So if you are looking for this radius, your C should be 120. If you are looking for this radius, you are using C as 90. Okay. So C is the side of the triangle where the circle is ascribed to. So in this case, if you're looking for this radius, you will use C as 120. If you're looking for this radius, you will use C as 90. And if you're looking for this radius, you will use C as 70. Yung hindi mo nagamit as C, sila yung magiging A and B. Naintindihan niyo yun? So sana clear sa atin yun, no? Kanina sa computation natin, nakuha na natin na si S natin is equal to 140 units. So what we should do now is substitute na lang natin dito sa ating formula. So let me erase my drawing, and again, you just replay your video if you want to check it again. Okay, medyo maliit kasi ang ating board. I hope you understand. Okay, now this would be the square root of 140. S is 140 minus A, say 70. And then 140 minus 90, that's your B. Divided by 140 na S minus C na 120. And that should give you the radius ascribed to side na 120 units. And the answer there should be how much ito? Sige nga, calculator natin. 140 times 140 minus 70 times 140 minus 90 divided by 9. Okay, so we have the answer here of 70 square root of 5. Units. Okay, if the problem is asking for the area of the Scribe Circle to 120 degrees, you need to compute for the area. Pi r squared. That's 70 square root of 5 squared. Okay, that's how much? 24, 500 pi square units. Okay, so you have here your radius and you have here your area. Area yung final na hinahanap sa ating problem. So we take this as our final answer. So number 10 concludes our problem for situation about triangle. Okay, let's proceed with our topic about circles. And the first thing that we need to talk about circles are the theorems on circles. Okay, so malaking tulong kasi sa ating mga analysis and computations if we are familiar with the theorems. Di naman necessary memorize mo siya, pero I hope familiar lang kayo sa kanya. Okay? So the first theorem na kailangan nating malaman is our central angle and our intersected arc. Central angle. Okay, or central angle theorem muna. Sige, ito muna yung unahin natin. Central angle theorem. Okay, ang central angle natin is from our previous discussion, nakukuha natin siya by getting our or by drawing a line from our center towards the circumference of the circle. So let's say mag-draw tayo ng line na pa ganito and meron tayong makukuha ang angle dito ngayon. We call this one as our theta sub C and central angle. And itong dito sa labas, tinatawag natin ito ng mga arcs. Arcs. Okay? Ang mga arcs na yan is, ang measurement niya is, represented by angles. So that, kung central angle mo na dito is, let's say, 90 degrees or let's say, 238 degrees, ang arc angle mo daw is dapat equal dun sa central angle na yan. Paano ba nire-represent si arc angle? Kasi ito yon, A and B. A and B. We have this as arc A and B. Gusto kong sabihin nito, si theta sub C equal daw siya kay arc A and B. Measurement of arc A and B. Okay? We also have our central angle and intersected arc. Central angle is 1/2 the intercepted angle. Lagi ko na lang. Theta intercepted. Okay. So if this is our central angle, kasi itong central angle na to, nag-intercept siya ng arc. Ito yung arc natin, di ba? Na kung sabihin ko itong arc nito is 80 degrees. 80 degrees ito. Basically, yung central angle mo is 80 degrees din. Galing dun sa ating concept sa unang theorem. Kung ano yung arc dito, yun din yung magiging central angle. And if you have another angle here na nag-i-intercept ng the same arc na yan, you call this the intercepted angle. Intercepted angle. Theta int. Ito yun. Okay? Ang magiging measurement doon niya ay kalahati palagi ng ating central angle. So that means this will be 40 degrees lang siya. Okay? For all, for all cases yun, basta circle ang pinag-uusapan natin. Given na pareho yung point na ini-intercept nila dyan. So, having said that, magagamit natin ngayon ito, theorem na to, no? If you have here a triangle kung saan ang longest side niya is your diameter, na in this case, dumadaan siya sa center, tapos ito yung longest side niya. Ang magiging angle mo daw dito palagi is 90 degrees. Okay? Bakit 90 degrees? Because it follows this principle here, na kung ito dumadaan dito sa gitna, ibig sabihin, ang central angle niya dito would be 180 degrees. And if this straight angle na 180 degrees at itong angle na to, the intercepted angle, intercepts the same arc. Parehong arc yung pinag-uusapan natin, itong arc na to, si arc AB. Ibig sabihin, nasusunod itong principle na to, na dapat ito kalahati ng central angle na yun. Hence, magiging 90 degrees talaga siya dyan. So, importante yan pag nagko-compute tayo kasi di naman mini-mention sa problem kung anong theorem yung gagamitin mo. Kaya, mahalaga na familiar ka with different theorems. And by knowing such theorems kasi, mapapabilis yung pag-compute mo ng mga problems. And also, there are problems na parang hindi mo siya nako-compute pag di mo alam yung mga theorems. Okay? So, that's very important. Next na pwede natin i-consider dito is, kung meron ka daw radius dito, tapos may tangent line ka dyan, okay? Tangent ito no, by definition, ang tangent line natin, tumatama sa ating circle at exactly one point, and that point is here. Radius naman is drawn from the center to the circumference of the circle. The angle always here is 90 degrees now. Okay? Yeah. And then, another thing is, if we are drawing a tangent here, tapos another tangent na nag-meet sila sa parehong point. Dalawang tangent line yan na nanggagaling sa parehong point. Ito yun. Ang tangent line daw na to ay equal sa tangent line daw yan. Equal silang dalawa. And don't forget, if it passes the radius here, 90 degrees siya dyan, 90 degrees din siya dyan from this theorem. Okay? Alright. And then, lastly siguro, what we need to have here is opposite angle daw ng cyclic quadrilaterals. Later, pag-uusapan natin ito. Sulat ko ha, opposite angle of a cyclic quadrilateral is always 180 angles. Sum of, lagyan ko na lang, sum dapat. The sum of opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral is always 180. So that means if we have angle, let's say theta 1 here, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4, and if cyclic quadrilateral doon siya, meaning isa siyang quadrilateral na yung apat doon yung vertices nagtatouch sa circumference ng below, cyclic quadrilateral yun. Meaning lang nun, si theta 1 plus theta 3, palagi daw talagang 180. Si theta 2 naman at si theta 4, palagi din siyang equal to 180 degrees. Yun lang yung gusto niyang sabihin sa theorem niya. Okay? Clear tayo doon. Yan. Now, meron tayong special theorems din na gusto kong i-discuss sa inyo. Try ko muna ito. Type ko na lang lahat. So, meron tayong tinatawag na mga, ito familiar siguro sa inyo, no? Cross-chord theorem. Okay, cross-chord theorem, we have the secant theorem. We also have the secant tangent. Alright, so ano bang mangyayari dito sa mga theorems na to? Say we have here a circle, ayan, so then lagyan natin ang bilog, tapos another circle. Okay, so magkakaiba tong theorem na to ha, ito tatlo. Unahin natin si cross chord. Familiar kayo sa chord ba? No? Ang chord is a line drawn inside a circle. Dapat yung line na yun, ang one endpoint niya is nasa circumference, and the other endpoint is nasa circumference din. Let's say we have another line here, dalawang chord siya na nag-cross. Kaya nga cross-chord theorem ang tawag sa kanya. Okay? Just so you know na ang longest chord natin, ano yon? Ang longest chord natin ay ang diameter. Okay? So, nagagamit ko din yung ano na yan. So, ito is general lang na chord. Say, ang chord natin is divided siya into measurements. Halimbawa, itong part na to ng chord is A, ito naman is C, ito naman is B, ito naman C, ito naman ang B. So, ang important characteristic daw nito is that when you multiply A times B, dapat equal daw yan kay C times B. Yan ang sinasabi ng cross-chord theorem natin. A times B is equal to C times D. Okay? So, taka lang ha. Okay. Now, proceed tayo sa ating next na theorem, which is yung secant theorem natin. Okay? Ano bang meron kay secant theorem? Yan. Ito, lagyan tayo ng dalawang secant line dito. Okay. Secant line naman is isang line kung saan nagtatouch siya into 2 points sa circle. Okay? Pero hindi necessary na nasa loob lang siya. No? Kung nasa loob lang kasi siya chord ang tawag. Pag nag-e-extend siya doon palabas, yun yung tinatawag natin na secant lines. Okay? So, anong pwede nating makuha dito sa secant lines na to? Say, lagyan natin ngayon ng measurements. Lagyan natin A yung nasa labas, B yung nasa loob, C yung nasa labas, D yung nasa loob. So, what does the secant theorem is trying to tell us? Okay? Sabi niya, ang A daw, A yung nasa labas yun, i-multiply mo daw siya sa buong secant line length na yan, which is A plus B. Okay? Equal daw yan ngayon sa itong nasa labas times itong buong distance na C plus B. Nasa labas times yung buo equals nasa labas times yung buo. That's what it's trying to tell us. The secant theorem. For our last theorem naman, the secant tangent theorem, draw tayo ngayon ng tangent line dito and a secant line. Secant line, dalawang points sa circle ang natatouch. It could extend beyond the circle. Tangent line naman touches our circle at one point only. So let's label this one as A and B, and then this one is C. So our theorem says that when you multiply A times AB, that's the whole secant line, okay, similar to this part here, but this time tangent yung partner niya, magiging equal daw siya sa C squared. Labas times yung buo is equal to the whole tangent line length squared. Right? Halos similar lang naman siya dito. It's just that tangent line lang kasi siya. Wala na siyang part na nandun sa loob ng bilog. Kaya ganito yung magiging summary niya. Okay? So remember all these theorems, pati yung mga napagdaanan na natin kanina, for it would be a big help for you to answer our next problems. So here we have a problem on circles. We have this, say, first problem here. Chords A, B, and CD intersect each other at E inside the circle. Okay? AE is given, that is 8 centimeters. And then we also have CE, that is 12 centimeters. We have DE, which is 20 centimeters. Okay, this is a board problem. If AB is the diameter, AB is the diameter. Okay, compute the area of AEC. What we are asked to do is compute for the area of AEC. Okay. Let's draw it to further see kung ano ba talaga yung itsura ng problem na to. So, ang sabi niya, meron doon tayong bilog. Circle. Then, meron tayong dalawang chords, A, B, and C, D. Okay ko na lang pa ganito. A, B, and C, D, pero A, B is the diameter daw, no? O, sige. A, B is the diameter. This is A, and then, let's say, ito yung isa. Ayan, hindi necessary na itong isa dumadaan siya dito sa gitna, no? Kasi hindi naman siya diameter, yung AB lang. So, this one is CD. Nag-intersect daw sila kay point E. Ito yun. Ano daw sabi niya? Ang AE daw is 8. Tapos CE. CE is 12. 12 cm. DE is 20. Okay, AB is the diameter. Compute the area of AEC. Ito yung tinatanong yung area. Guys, ha? Ito. Nandito sa sign. Okay, shade ko ganyan. So, yun yung tinatanong niya sa akin. But first, bago natin makuha yan, kompletuhin muna natin ano yung magiging distance nito. Okay? Kasi certainly that would help sa ating problem mamaya. Okay. Yeah. So, what are we going to do here is label this point here. Let's say point O yan. Kunin natin ngayon ano yung distance na yan. May our cross-chord theorem, if you can recall kanina. Okay? Cross-chord theorem says that, ano yun? AE times EB is equal to CE times ED. Tama na? Ayan yung sinabi niya. So, putting this now, 8 is yung AE natin, EB is unknown. Okay, then CE is 12. ED natin is 20. Okay. So, from this, we can get our EB. Multiply mo lang to, tapos divide mo by 8, that will be how much? 12 times 20 divided by 30. Okay? So basically, ang buong distance na to is 30. Now, di ba sabi niya kanina, AB daw is the diameter. Lagay ko ulit dito. Okay? And AB is the sum of AE, which is 8, plus yung 30 natin na EB. Tama? That would sum up to 38. 38 ang diameter. No, diameter is 38. Therefore, ano ngayon ang magiging radius natin? Radius would be 19 centimeters. Okay. Anong gagamitan natin ng radius na yan? Okay. Itadraw ko ngayon itong portion na to ng ating circle. Ayan yan, no? Draw ko ganyan. This one is your point O. This one is your point E. Puro ko lang ng kaunti. This one is your point A. Okay? Draw tayo ng konting arc dito. This one is your point C. Which is pwede ko rin i-connect na yan. Okay? Ang hinahanap nating area is this one. Tama? Oh. Pwede ko bang sabihin, ang area ng AEC is equal ba sa ating AOC sector, that's actually a sector, diba? Area of sector na lang. Area of sector AOC, okay, minus area of triangle EOC. Tama bang sabihin yun? Actually, tama na. Okay. Nga pala guys, sector ang tawag natin sa ganito, yung parang pizza cut natin sa circle. For as long as tumatama siya dito sa center of the circle, tapos radius itong dalawang side na to, sector yon. Okay? So, kakasabi ko lang, di ba? Ito radius to, 19 cm. Tama? Actually, ito yung point na yan, no? Yan yung line na yan. 19 cm yan. Compute natin yung radius. Ito naman, actually is 8 cm. And dapat ang total nito, since radius din to is 19, so basically, itong part na to is 11. Ayan. Hindi lang siya scaled sa drawing natin, no? But that should be 11. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin? Now, we need to compute first for this angle here. I'll just call it angle theta. Okay, lagyan ko ng ano to ha, di ba itong line na to, ito. This is 12 cm from our given. Now we have this triangle. Oh, may triangle tayong nakikita ganito. 11, 19, 12. And we want to get this angle theta here. How do we get angle theta? By our cosine law. Cosine law natin, what do we have? Ito ha, cosine law. Anong meron dito? 12 squared is equal to 11 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 times 11 times 19 cosine of the unknown angle theta. Sige nga, let's compute this one. 12 squared minus 11 squared minus 19 squared divided by negative 2 times 11 times 19. Okay? Taking the arc cos of that will give you 36.04. Theta is 36.04 degrees. Ito yung angle natin dyan. Alright. So, burahin natin yung ibang portion dito para makapag-complete tayo ha. At take note na lang ng ibang mga balikan nyo na lang ang portion na to ng video kung medyo nawala ka sa mga given. But I hope you are taking down notes. Okay. Again, ito yung hinahanap natin. And if ito ang magiging working equation natin, area of AEC is equal to sector, ulitin ko sulat dito ha, area of AEC is area of sector minus area of triangle. Diyan tayo ngayon babase. Okay. Can we first get the value of the area of the sector? Paano kayo nakuha ang area ng sector? Actually, if this is a portion of the entire circle, gaya ng sinasabi ko kanina, di ba? Magiging sector siya kung parang pizza cut siya of the circle. Dumadaan siya sa gitna and ang dalawang side ng sector ay ang radius. You can get the area by taking the area of the circle itself, pi r squared, and then kukunin mo lang yung fraction na gagamitin mo for your sector. And that is your theta over 360. Kasi ang buong circle natin is 360 degrees. But ang kukunin mong area ngayon is itong ganito lang na degrees, 36.04 degrees lang. Okay? Sana malinaw yun sa inyo. Area ng sector is pi. R natin ngayon is 19 centimeters. So square mo siya. Tapos, portion of the circle that you are getting is 36.04 over the whole portion, 360. So, itong fraction lang na to ang kukunin mo down. Okay. And computing that one would give us an area of 113.54 cm squared. Alright. Yun na yan. Now, we need also to get the area of the triangle to complete our solution. Let me erase this portion of our solution. Okay. Area of the triangle naman tayo. How do we get that? That's 1/2 AB sine of an included angle. So in this case, instead na mag-Heron's formula ka, since may angle ka na, this is the easier way of computing that area. Okay? We have 1/2. Take A as 11. B is 19. And multiply it by the sine of your angle theta. Okay? Ano nga angle theta natin? 36.04. And that would give us area of the triangle is 61.41. cm squared. Now, going back to our equation kanina, we can compute for the area of AEC. So that would be 113.54 minus the area of the triangle 61.41. That would give us our final answer, which is 52.05 or 06. 52.06. Again, pag may mga discrepancy sa decimal, acceptable na yan ha, basta hindi naman ganun kalaki. Alright, so this is our final answer. So to recall this problem, again, ang unang naging step talaga dito is our cross-chord theorem. Okay? Then sumunod na ang mga basic geometry using areas of sector and area of a triangle.